One of the world's most powerful moguls just got exposed behind bars. And what they found is everyone talking. Sean Diddy Combs, music tycoon, billionaire brand builder, and once untouchable icon, is now at the center of a prison scandal that's unraveling fast. Word just leaked from Fort Dix Federal Correctional Facility. And if the reports are true, this isn't just about a bad decision. It's about what really goes on behind locked doors, even for celebrities. Sources say Diddy was caught with homemade alcohol, an offense that, on the surface, might seem minor. But inside prison walls, it's anything but. Alcohol doesn't just show up, which raises one huge question. How did it get in? And who helped make it happen? Already, whispers are growing. Was Diddy set up? Or is this yet another case of celebrity privilege being pushed too far? Because let's be honest, not every inmate gets second chances, legal teams, and media spin. But someone like Diddy? That's a different story. And this isn't happening in a vacuum. With past allegations, lawsuits, and rumors already surrounding him, this latest twist could be the moment that turns the tide, not just for Diddy's reputation, but for his entire empire. So what really happened at Fort Dix, and how deep does this scandal go? Stick around, because nothing about this story is surface level. And the next detail? It might change everything you thought you knew. It started with a weird vibe. That's how one insider put it. Something was off about Diddy's behavior that night. Quiet, withdrawn, not his usual confident, composed self. Prison staff noticed it too. And in a place like Fort Dix, off can mean a lot of things. According to leaked reports, guards decided to carry out an unannounced cell check just after midnight. What they found wasn't weapons, or even the usual stash of contraband snacks. It was worse, at least by prison standards. A hidden container of homemade alcohol, stashed in a way that suggested this wasn't a one-time accident. This was intentional. Prison alcohol, known inside as pruno or hooch, isn't just prohibited, it's heavily watched for. It's dangerous, it spreads fast, and worst of all, it signals an inmate is pulling strings behind the scenes. For someone like Diddy, that raises serious questions. Who's helping him? Who knew? And was this just the tip of something much bigger? The reaction was instant, especially online. Social media lit up with breaking headlines like Diddy busted behind bars and alcohol scandal erupts at Fort Dix. Some fans were stunned. Others weren't. One Reddit user summed it up in a now viral thread. If you think Diddy just randomly ended up with alcohol in prison, you're not paying attention. Man still thinks he's untouchable. And that's where the speculation really began. But if alcohol can make it into a federal prison, what else is getting through the cracks? On paper, Fort Dix is a federal low-security correctional institution, the kind of place you'd expect white-collar criminals and non-violent offenders to end up. But behind the tall fences and routine head counts, Fort Dix has a very specific type of reputation, and it's not just about good behavior. This prison has quietly become known as a hub for high-profile inmates, celebrities, former politicians, ex-corporate execs. Some even call it Club Fed, though insiders say that nickname is more myth than reality. Still, when compared to higher security prisons, Fort Dix does offer certain subtle privileges. Larger outdoor spaces, more open movement, and yes, tighter social circles among inmates. But here's where things get interesting. Fort Dix has also been at the center of multiple past controversies involving smuggled goods, corrupt staff, and internal trades. Whether it's sneakers, phones, or contraband booze, the facility has long battled an under-the-surface economy, run quietly by inmates and occasionally overlooked by staff. For someone like Diddy, who's used to navigating powerful networks, Fort Dix might not have felt like a prison in the traditional sense. It may have felt more like a sealed system with rules waiting to be bent. That's what some experts are now pointing to, that Diddy may have been leveraging influence even behind bars. And in a place like Fort Dix, that kind of maneuvering wouldn't be hard, especially if he wasn't acting alone. But those subtle privileges can disappear fast, especially when scandal hits. Contraband in prison isn't rare. In fact, some insiders say it's so common, it's practically part of the infrastructure. And in federal facilities like Fort Dix, smuggling isn't just about slipping something past a guard. It's about knowing how the system works and who's willing to bend for the right price. One of the most common entry points? Mail. Legal documents, magazine subscriptions, even children's drawings. All of them can be tampered with, soaked with substances, or repackaged to conceal what's really being delivered. Then there are visitation loopholes, where family, friends, or even fake clergy members slip items through body cavities, prosthetics, or food containers. But the real kicker? Corrupt staff. Former inmates have admitted that guards, sometimes under pressure, sometimes for cash, have played key roles in smuggling everything from phones to weed to full bottles of liquor. And when a high-profile inmate with cash and connections shows up, those offers don't exactly dry up. As for alcohol, it's shockingly common behind bars. Fermented fruit, sugar, juice cartons left out in the sun for days, boom, you've got hooch. Diddy reportedly had his own stash, suggesting a setup sophisticated enough to avoid detection for weeks, possibly with help from the inside. But here's where things get even more layered. Celebrities often enter prison with pre-baked survival blueprints, shared quietly between big names. It's said they tap into whisper networks, unspoken cheat codes passed from one celeb inmate to the next. Who to trust, who to pay, how to maintain control without getting caught. Because prison might lock the gates, but it doesn't shut down power plays. And for someone like Diddy, power has always been his weapon of choice. Here's where things start to get shady. The timing of the search, the specific cell chosen, and the near immediate leak to the press, none of it sits right with the online crowd. Within hours of the news breaking, Reddit threads and X posts started pointing fingers, not at Diddy, but at someone inside. According to unconfirmed insider chatter, not everyone at Fort Dix welcomed Diddy with open arms. In fact, there's buzz about a quiet rivalry brewing between him and another inmate, a well-connected figure who allegedly has close ties to certain prison staff. No names confirmed yet, but the whispers are getting louder. What fans and commentators are really questioning is the timing. Why was Diddy's cell searched at that exact time? Why were prison records flagged after the fact and not before? And who tipped off the guards to begin with? Some are calling it a coincidence stack that smells like a setup. On one Reddit post with over 10K upvotes, a user claimed, he went in with too much status. Someone either wanted to knock him down or gain favor by offering him up. Others believe this was a power move, either from within the inmate hierarchy or even the staff, to remind Diddy that no amount of outside fame protects you behind bars. And the most suspicious part? The media got the story within hours. That kind of leak doesn't happen unless someone wanted it out there fast. So the real question might not be whether Diddy made a mistake, but who wanted the world to know he did. Let's be real. This isn't happening in isolation. The Fort Dix contraband scandal didn't just hit Diddy's record behind bars. It hit him while he's already drowning in a sea of headlines, lawsuits, and unanswered questions. In the past year alone, Diddy has faced multiple legal challenges, including high-profile civil cases, public accusations from former collaborators, and a growing media narrative that paints him not as a misunderstood mogul, but as a man whose empire is starting to crack from the inside. And here's the thing. The court of public opinion? It's already in session. While the alcohol itself may seem like a minor offense in the grand scheme, optics matter. And this latest scandal just handed prosecutors a perfect talking point. If they're trying to paint Diddy as someone who believes he's above the rules, this kind of incident fits like a glove. Legal experts are already speculating that this could influence unrelated cases by reinforcing a pattern, especially if prosecutors want to show character evidence of manipulation or rule-breaking behavior. That alone could shift momentum in courtrooms that have nothing to do with prison alcohol. And then there's the media play. Tabloids are back on him like vultures, pumping out headlines, digging up dirt, and stitching this scandal into a growing narrative of downfall. Even fans who once defended him are starting to question what's real and what's been carefully hidden all along. For Diddy, this isn't just about homemade booze. It's about brand erosion, legal leverage, and the slow collapse of a once impenetrable public image. Like it or not, celebrity status doesn't vanish behind bars. It just mutates. And if you ask former inmates or prison staff, they'll tell you the celebrity effect is very real and very complicated. Some stars are treated like royalty. private cells, extra visitation privileges, soft jobs in the library or rec room, all quietly offered in exchange for a little fame proximity. Others are targeted, seen as trophies to be taken down or used as leverage in internal power games. Either way, being famous in prison means having a spotlight in a place built for shadows. Multiple former inmates of federal prisons, Fort Dix included, have gone on record saying staff will turn a blind eye for someone with money or media pull. It's not supposed to happen, one former guard told The Intercept, but you'd be surprised what a name can buy behind bars. And did he? There are unconfirmed reports that he came in with certain expectations. Sources say he allegedly requested extra bedding, demanded discreet handling by guards, and even tried to limit exposure to the general population. Some say these moves rubbed people the wrong way long before the alcohol was ever found. So was he just trying to protect himself in an unfamiliar environment, or leaning too hard into his old world power? Because when the other inmates saw him getting those extras, resentment may have started brewing long before the hooch ever did. To someone on the outside, getting caught with homemade alcohol might sound like a dumb mistake, maybe even something petty. But inside prison walls, it means something completely different. Making hooch behind bars isn't just about getting a buzz. It's about proving you can move around the rules, that you've got the connections, resources, and protection to pull it off. Inmates don't risk making alcohol for fun. They do it for leverage, to earn favors, build loyalty, or quietly run influence across the tier. That's why the details in Diddy's case matter. According to a leaked report, this wasn't some makeshift bottle hidden under a bunk. Guards allegedly uncovered a complete brewing setup, hidden containers, fermentation tools, and signs that had been there for days, maybe weeks. That's not casual use. That's organized. And it suggests one thing. He wasn't drinking alone. So who was he sharing it with? That part's still unclear, but prison sources say that Diddy had started building alliances early, leaning into small favors, offering snacks, trading commissary. Now, some believe those early moves may have been groundwork. And the alcohol? Just step two. If true, it means Diddy wasn't trying to escape prison life. He was trying to control it. And that's what's sending up red flags. Because alcohol behind bars isn't just contraband, it's a signal. A way of saying, I still have power, even in here. But the more influence you try to hold, the faster people want to rip it away. Here's where things get real. Because what happened at Fort Dix isn't just a prison scandal. It could turn into a legal disaster. While the alcohol incident may seem minor compared to Diddy's other ongoing lawsuits, legal experts say it could carry ripple effects far beyond prison walls. At minimum, this kind of violation can lead to revoked privileges, tighter surveillance, and even a transfer to a more restrictive facility. But worst case, it could seriously affect future parole or early release eligibility. And his legal team knows it. According to industry sources, Diddy's lawyers are reportedly deeply concerned, not just about the contraband, but about how the incident makes their client look in the eyes of prosecutors, judges, and potential jurors in unrelated cases. Why? Because narratives matter in court. And this latest scandal feeds a dangerous one, that Diddy doesn't follow the rules, even when consequences are dire. Even outside the courtroom, the damage is already spreading. Diddy's fashion empire, liquor ventures, and music licensing deals all depend on branding, image, and market trust. High-profile advertisers are watching. Collaborators are becoming distant. And fan support? It's splintering. One media analyst put it plainly. Every headline chips away at the empire. At some point, you stop being Diddy the mogul and start being Diddy the liability. Whether he gets charged for this incident or not, the impact is already unfolding quietly in boardrooms, bank meetings, and business calls. And the worst part? This might be just the first domino to fall. The moment the Fort Dix story broke, the internet exploded. Major outlets dropped headlines within hours. But it wasn't just journalists reacting. It was Twitter/X, Reddit, Instagram, and TikTok feeding the fire, each platform spinning its own version of what really happened. And the takes? They're dividing fans like never before. On one side, you've got the conspiracy crowd. Thousands are calling the scandal a setup. Another chapter in what they claim is a long play to destroy Diddy's legacy. A popular theory floating around X goes like this. Diddy's empire was too powerful for too long. They couldn't take him down in court, so now they're doing it behind bars. Some fans are pointing back to past high-profile industry beefs, suggesting rivals could be pulling strings behind the scenes, even from outside the prison walls. But not everyone's buying it. For others, this is the moment they say the mask finally slipped. The Diddy they grew up admiring has, in their eyes, been showing red flags for years, and this scandal is simply confirmation. One Reddit comment that went viral reads, "It's not even surprising anymore. The guy's been dodging reality for decades. Now it's caught up. Even in the media, the tone has shifted. Outlets that once handled him with glossy gloves are now taking a sharper edge. The narrative isn't about protecting a legacy. It's about peeling it apart. And there's one undeniable truth. Whether you believe he's being framed or finally exposed, everyone's watching. Since the scandal broke, everything has reportedly changed for Diddy inside Fort Dix. Sources say he's now under closer surveillance, with guards ordered to monitor his movements more frequently. Any privileges he once had, from private time in the yard to limited contact with general population, are rumored to have been cut back. Some insiders even suggest he's facing temporary isolation, the kind meant less for punishment and more for protection. Because whether the scandal was real or a setup, the fallout behind bars is the same: loss of trust. In prison, respect and positioning are everything. And once your name is tied to a media storm, not everyone wants to be around you, especially when that scandal hints at snitching, special treatment, or playing both sides. There are whispers that some inmates now view Diddy as a liability, a magnet for attention, and not the good kind. And that kind of spotlight doesn't just isolate you, it can make you a target. Even worse, this incident might send a chilling message to other celebrities on their way into the system. Don't think your fame will shield you. If anything, it puts you under the microscope. Diddy came in as a mogul. But after this, he may walk out remembered as the man who couldn't control the one environment he couldn't buy. For someone like Diddy, a man who built his reputation on control, image, and power, this single moment behind bars might shift everything. What started as a contraband bust has spiraled into something much bigger. It's no longer just about homemade alcohol tucked away in a federal facility. It's about perception, influence, and whether that influence still holds weight when the walls close in. His public image has taken hits before, lawsuits, whispers, controversies, but this incident strikes in a place he can't spin, can't brand, can't buy his way out of. Prison strips everything down to the rawest version of who you really are. And now the world is asking, is Diddy just the latest victim of a system stacked against high-profile names, or is this finally the part where decades of silence, power plays, and protection unravel in real time? Because scandals like these don't end with one viral post or one leaked report. They build, they spread, and then they start pulling everything with them. So here's the real question. Is the system broken, or is the star finally facing consequences? And if this is just the beginning, what else is going to come to light?